For this program, guys, we've invited Daryl Quinton. Daryl, welcome to the show this evening. We're going to chat about the bait casting reel for bass anglers. I know that bass anglers often struggle to set the drags with it. Daryl, please show us how to use these things. They're mechanically quite advanced, and I always struggle to get it sorted out to not having overwind. So please help us with it to use it properly.
Perfect. Andres, thanks again for the opportunity to come here and share a bit of knowledge and a bit of passion. I think it's something a lot of guys fear when purchasing a bait casting reel. A bait casting reel offers a lot of advantages to the anglers. Obviously, when it comes down to accuracy, precision casting, etc., which can obviously this reel has a lot more to offer than a spinning reel. So guys are scared of it, and for the obvious reason, the overwinds and the backlashes. So with now technology, it's actually helping the anglers a lot. So right off the bat, the first thing that I tell to any junior or any senior angler that perhaps starting out, if you're scared of getting an overwind, the best way to do it is to pull a bit of line off the reel. Put a bit of insulation tape on. So let's say pull 20 meters or so off the reel, put a little bit of insulation tape on the spool and wind the line back just to get into the motion and get used to the sort of technique. And then if you do get an overwind, you're obviously losing 20 meters of line versus a whole spool of line. Fluorocarbon and fishing line these days are very expensive. So it's always just a small little tip that I can offer to kids starting out in the sort of sector. So it's very simple. I think the first basic thing that we need to cover is on the side of every bait caster, most bait casters, there's a little dial on the side which is called the spool control. So this controls the spool of the speed. So if you engage the reel into a free spool, if you tighten up the spool control, then this tightens up accordingly. So the rule of thumb, the way we were taught, is that when you've got your lure, every lure has got different weights. So the best is once you've got your line through the guides and you put a certain lure weight on, let's say, I don't know, 15, 20 grams, you free spool your spool and then you adjust your casting control so that when the lure hits the ground, the spool needs to stop. So that is the basic principle of a spool control. Then you've got on the new age reels now, on the old age, let's go back one step. On the old ones, we had a magnetic dial on the side, which basically then controls the speed of the spool. So this controls, obviously, to try and get your weight balanced correctly. And then on the magnetic spool control, then does the fine adjustment to the spool.
That's the ones that we used to push in or push out.
That's correct. Yeah, it's got like basically most of them come from 1 to 5. So now with the new age technology, most of it comes with centrifugal braking systems. So on every bait caster, you've basically got an inside braking drum. And then on the spool, you've now got casting weights. So if your weights are set to the center of the spool, so you push your weights in, and always remember, please use the opposite. So opposites need to be out, opposite needs to be in. So when all your brake systems are pushed to the inside of the spool, it maximizes the speed of the spool. So then on a long cast, all the weight is driven to the center of the spool, center of gravity, and you get the longer cast. Should you want to cushion the cast, you then open your magnets to the outside of the spool, and then it basically brings the weight, the cast weights to the outside of the drum, and then it's used as a braking system. So obviously all your weights that are out, when you make the cast, it basically cushions. As soon as you bring them all in, it takes all the resistance off the outside of the cast drum, and you're going to get a longer cast. So the beginning stages would be to set all your magnets to the outside, your centrifugal braking system if you're a beginner. And as you start getting into the motion, you can then take opposites and bring 2 in and leave 2 out, or whatever the braking system is. So always start at a point, maximizing, and as you get used to it, you can loosen off on your spool control, and you can then bring all your weights to the center of the spool, which will give you the maximum casting distance.
Daryl, what I'm interested in hearing what you're saying is that if you would be pitching and flipping, and whether you'd be casting like crankbaits, the one is an overhand cast and the other one is a shortish motion, if you like.
Yeah.
Is the settings different for the 2 sets of casts? So you need to make sure when you use the one reel for flipping, it shouldn't be used for another function. Am I right when I'm saying this?
But in the reels today, Andre, so most of us that are bass fishing have got various sets of rods, different range of rods for crankbaiting, pitching, what you're referring to now. So when you're pitching, you want your reel to be at its freest. So it's the least amount of effort to basically do an underhand pitch, skipping under the docks, under the trees to a target. Let's say there's a stump or whatever, and you want to make a precision cast to the back. Your bait caster should be set to the least amount of friction possible so that it's just merely a wrist action and you put the bait into the zone. It takes a lot of practice, but very rewarding. If it comes to crankbaiting, you're generally making a longer cast, and in most situations you're faced with a bit of a light breeze. So what you want to get the balance of when you make that long cast, that your crankbait eventually then starts to lose speed. When that crankbait starts to lose speed on the descent to the water, you don't want your bait caster going faster than the speed lure. That's what causes the overwind. So you almost then got to use your thumb, which takes something getting used to, but then you adjust your brakes possibly with a bit of cushion on the side and other ones. The experienced anglers, some of the top anglers, will make a cast with the crankbait with the least amount of friction, which gives them the longer cast. And in most cases, especially when you're trying to dive to greater depths, if you've got a rock pile that's sitting in, let's say, tops out in 10, 12 foot, you've really got to make a long cast past the rock pile in order to get your crankbait to make contact with the rock pile at a long cast. So you need the longest possible cast. Okay. But as a beginner, obviously you start off with the basic settings and then progress from there.
Yeah. Tell me, Daryl, on the side of that reel, there's a star drag, if I can call it that way. Does it have an influence on the casting or not as much?
No, it doesn't. So your star drag is the star. This star drag on this side is purely for your drag system, and on the side of this reel, you'll see. So there's your brake drum. There's your casting weights, and then on this particular one, you see here you've got a setting from 1 to 5. So this is now your fine tuning system. So once you've got your brake system set, let's say 2 in, 2 out, you then can fine tune it. So if you're fishing and it's nice and calm and you're still making a long cast and all of a sudden the wind picks up, you now don't have to open up the side plate anymore to adjust your brakes. You now merely adjust your micro tuning system on the side, which then gives you the micro tuning to cushion the crankbait to avoid having an overwind down the line. So most of the reels these days, this is a Corrado, and it comes with both centrifugal and your micro settings for.
Okay. So if there's different price ranges, I'm sure there's different price ranges. The functionality of the two sets of drag setting, if you like, not drag setting, the
friction setting.
It's basically the same on the different pricing ranges.
Same principles. Okay. So in the old days, you for an advanced reel, for a higher end reel, you get the centrifugal braking system. And now in today's times, the way technology is evolved, even on the lower end bait casters, all offer the centrifugal braking option. So for us, it's a great thing. It's nice to offer a low end reel with the centrifugal cast control, which is really optimizing your fishability.
Yeah, I know that these reels has got 5, 6, 7 amount of bearings inside. What is the effect of the bearings on that friction system, if you like?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So obviously, in most cases, the more bearings the reel has, the better the reel. But there's one, I think the guys mustn't get confused between a quality bearing and a cheaper bearing. So a lot of the reels in today's market, they'll tell you it's got 10 bearings, 12 bearings, etc. And then some of the reels have got 5, 6 bearings. So everyone says you've got to go for the 10 or the 12 bearing. Well, there's a big difference between one Japanese bearing and a Chinese bearing. So one Japanese bearing is equivalent, let's to say, I'm not going to give you an exact number, but 2 to 3 Chinese bearings. So a lot of people add bearings, a lot of manufacturers add bearings to say, well, their reel's better than the next one. But the truth of the matter is a Japanese ball bearing is the best that you're going to get. So it's the smoothest. And remember, by adding ball bearings to a reel, adds weight. And in today's times and trends, people are looking for the lightest possible reel with the maximum amount of workable bearings. So that is the challenge in today's field, is to try and get a reel that is super light with these high modulus graphite rods, but that still offers the angler all the options. So if you've got more bearings on your spool, etc., obviously the more free your spool will become. But the guys must not get confused between that reel's got 12 bearings. There may be a reel with 5 or 6 bearings that is going to be better to cast than the 12 bearing reel.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Daryl, thank you very much for coming into the studio and sharing your passion for bait casting with us. It was lovely having you here. Till next time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Till next time, we'll see you on
Thanks,
the water.
Daryl. See you.
Take care.
Cheers.
Every angler knows one of the keys to catching fish is remaining undetected. See them before they see you with Mega 360 imaging from Humminbird. Whether using your trolling motor or while sitting still, the high-frequency beam of Mega 360 imaging reveals the world below with unmatched clarity, showing you incredible images of structure, vegetation, bait fish, and individual fish. Like underwater radar, the Mega 360 imaging beam rotates, giving you a 360-degree view of the water that's constantly updating with your boat at the center. See a target? Mark a waypoint directly on your Mega 360 imaging screen and let range rings show you the distance from your boat to the target. Then, position your boat and cast exactly where the fish are. Choose from 5 beam rotation speeds for the right balance of image quality and refresh rate. You can customize your sweep area from 360 degrees down to 10 degrees. Use preset view options, like in front of your boat, to find and cast to productive spots without spooking fish. The different shades on the Mega 360 imaging screen provide more detail about what lies below and around your boat. The brighter the color, the stronger the sonar return from the objects below. For example, softer bottom or deeper water appears in darker shades, while lighter shades indicate a hard bottom or shallower areas. Sonar shadows are something else to look for. Imagine your sonar beam as a flashlight. Long shadows usually indicate the object is tall, while small shadows mean it's short. Once you've found structure, see if it's holding fish. Bait fish will show up as a tight cluster of returns, while game fish will appear as bright, solid marks, often associated with a sonar shadow on the bottom. The distance between the mark and the shadow will tell you how far the fish is from the bottom, so you can cast accordingly. By surrounding you with images of fish and structure, Mega 360 imaging from Humminbird puts you at the center of the action without making you the center of attention.
Andries, you mentioned all our national federations and associations compete internationally with our national teams. Tell us a bit more. How does it work?
Well, Mariette, because of the different divisions that we spoke about, each association or federation hosts respectively their national championships annually. And after these events, they've got national trials to the individuals that were qualified and invited to the trials. And then they compete to be selected in the various teams. Some of our national federations, however, has got a different process where they have a nomination process as part of their selection policy. And then they select the various teams, which can be president's teams or association teams or federation teams, as well as the SASACC teams and Protea teams. And these teams then compete internationally in various tournaments where they then can compete against different nations. So the president's teams and the association teams normally participate in Region 5 events, and the Protea and SASACC teams, they normally compete abroad, Region 5, as well as the World Championships and some other international tournaments where they participate then in. So the vast process that the guys need to go through, it's a long time to get there, to qualify for your colors, and the process and the selection is stringent for a person to qualify. You don't just get your blazer the first time round. It's not that easy.
It should be too.
Yeah. We've established many processes over the years to make sure that we honor the quality of our teams and the awarding of our colors, and we try to stick to that to maintain good results internationally by our teams.
Well, hat off to all the Federation and Association selectors. You're doing a great job. Thanks.
Mariette, I know that you keep yourself well informed of our participation of our Protea teams when they participate in the World Championships. How are our teams normally faring in these international events? Are they doing well, or how do you see it?
Andries, over the years, since our participation started internationally, we've done exceptionally well at international events. For example, in Region 5 tournaments that are being hosted for the shore angling, freshwater bank angling, bass angling, and artificial lure angling. Our Protea and SASACC teams bagged numerous wins and produced a number of Victor Ladorums at these events. We are really doing very well in the Region 5 tournaments. When it comes to the World Championships, it's a different story. The competition is obviously a lot more stringent and difficult due to the level of participation around the globe. Over the years at the World Championships, we've managed to obtain good results, and one of them is the bass angling team, which have been crowned as world champions multiple times and are currently ranked first in the world. Bass angler Justy Varkevisser is currently ranked number 1 individual angler in the world. Another example is our carp angling team, which has also been crowned as world champions multiple times. The carp angling team is currently ranked second in the world. In other disciplines, we also managed to obtain positions, be it silver, bronze, or gold.
Mariette, it's very nice to hear how our teams are faring now. Just to enlighten our viewers, what happens with the international ranking is they take a 5-year period of participation in world championships and they rank your team based on the results obtained, the medals achieved. So in the carp angling team, as an example, the team that are first at the moment, they've got 20 medals and our team has got 17 medals over that time frame. So it's a stringent competition area where these guys are participating.
And they need to perform constantly.
That's the problem. You can't miss a year and you get downgraded on that ranking system. So we're very proud of those two teams of us doing well, making us proud in terms of their results. Some of our other teams are also doing well, but on the ranking system, those are the two top teams.
Brilliant. Well done, guys.
Mariette, before we continue with the episode, you would remember in our previous program we mentioned about the competition for our viewers.
Oh, yes.
So we received some gifts from Supercast, which is one of our partners in the sport. And we're going to quickly do the drawing of the entries that we received for that competition. So Mariette, you've got the hat with the names in there. Will you do the honor in grabbing a name for us there for the first set of gifts?
Sure. I was pleasantly surprised by the number of entries we received. Let me just mix them up and then draw a name.
Wonderful.
Okay, we've got a winner. It's Jaco Goodwin from Cape Town. Congratulations, Jaco.
Baie geluk Jaco, jy gaan hulle onder in Pareldown kan gebruik. Ek weet jy's 'n oeverhengelaar. So hierdie is op pad dan na jou toe. Ons gaan met jou kontak maak om dit af te stuur dan na jou toe met 'n koerierdiens. So binnekort gaan jy jou geskenkpakkie kry van Supercast af. Baie dankie Supercast vir julle steun met hierdie pryse van ons. Nou ja, Mariette, nou kan ons aanbeweeg na die hengelnuus toe.
Vir 25 jaar is Supercast die bobaas varswater aasvervaardiger. Ons voorsien aan al jou behoeftes, van sosiale hengelaar tot wêreldkampioen. As nasionale borg het Supercast ons kampioene gehelp en kan ons jou ook 'n wenner maak langs die viswaters met die nuutste metodes en tegnieke. Maak gebruik van ons wye reeks produkte, getoets en beproef deur ons span professionele hengelaars. Supercast, die keuse van kampioene.
As we said before the break, we're going to take a look to the activities lined up for 2022.
As we are already into the year, some of the events of 2022 has already been concluded, including this is the SASA Junior Nationals and the SASA Masters Nationals. In the Freshwater Federation, the Masters National Trials and the Ladies Nationals and the National Trials are completed, and the Veteran Nationals is also completed.
For the remainder of the year, we are looking forward to the normalization of our participation on all levels of social and competitive angling. On the national front, we have many national championships to be hosted by our national federations and associations. The championships will be in all of the angling disciplines of SASACC. The international calendar is also very full. as more and more countries can now travel to attend the World Championships and Region 5 tournaments. There are so many international events, it's not possible to name each one of them individually.
Yeah, Mariette, with all the teams that we select, I think we've got about 140 caps annually for Proteas.
Wow.
So all of the different events which they compete in, it's just too difficult to mention all of the events over the globe where we compete with our teams. Our anglers are looking forward to competing internationally because over the period now recently our teams, some of them couldn't participate. So for anglers, it is a highlight of their angling participation, being in a position to compete internationally at these World Championships. Many of our teams have the skills and knowledge to win these World Championships, or at least end up in the medals. I know for certain that our bass angling team, which is on their way to the USA to compete at Lake Murray, has got a very good chance of bringing back the gold medal for us. And we trust and believe that the COVID-19 situation in the USA won't prevent that championships from continuing.
So Andries, competition time again. Daryl Quinton was our guest coach and he was teaching us about bait casting reels. What is the question?
Well, Mariette, the reel that he discussed referred to on the side of the reel, and he showed us that there's a dial on the side of the reel which determines the speed at which the spool turn when you cast it. So please give us the name of this dial which is on the side of a bait casting reel. WhatsApp your answer to the WhatsApp number that's on the screen so that you can be entered into the competition.
Remember to hit the subscribe button and also the notification icon so that you can be notified of our new episodes. Keep up the good work, guys.
Mariette, we created a section for our anglers and our viewers to submit videos of their angling trips. And we would like to share those videos with our viewers. We invite you to please send your videos to the email address that's displayed on the screen now. Please use email or WeTransfer to send those videos to us so that we can show it the footage. Please ensure that your footage is taken in landscape mode to ensure that it can be displayed nicely on the program.
So, Andries, we received a video from Mickey Miller. Mickey is one of our freshwater anglers with a disability, but this is not keeping him back by any means. Mickey can really only use his one arm, but this is not preventing him from angling competitively. He managed to make a plan how to handle his rod while casting and playing a fish.
elke maand hiernatoe kom, asseblief. Karl is nogal wat verlief geraak het op die Nyl. Ja. Dis baie lekker. Ja. Om iemand te vat. Ja. En hy geniet dit. Ja. Dean, thank you for this lovely venue.
Mariette, you can see in the video that he made a plan to hook the rod by means of a clip and a strap around his neck, and this assists him. This way he can use his functional hand to reel, turn the reel if you like, and then to bring in the line and also land the fish with the landing net. With this video of Mickey, we can share the passion of angling with all our viewers.
Once again, guys, please send your video to us as we would love to show it to our viewers. We've reached the end of this program. During our next program, we will be focusing on the following. We'll reflect on national trials. We'll have interviews with our Pro Tier team members coming back from World Championships and some reports from National Championships. We will be discussing the international participation for the first half of 2022.
Please click on the subscribe button as well as the notification icon so that when we publish our episodes of the show that you can be notified and enjoy the programs with us. You can leave your comments of the show below so that we can interact with you as well. See you all next time.
Happy angling!